Hello, in this video, we are going to see how we can consume COVID-19 vaccination APIs or COVID APIs by building a custom Spring Boot web application using Swagger. So, before we begin, so what is a CoWIN? So, CoWIN is a website or mobile application which is available for the citizens of India to book COVID-19 vaccination slots. Uh, Users should be able to search the nearest COVID-19 vaccination centers, and with using this website, they can search for the available vaccination slots and book an appointment for COVID-19 vaccination. um, COVID-19 vaccination slot. So there are a series of steps users need to perform in order to be able to successfully book a COVID-19 vaccination slot. So, like first, user should register with this CoWIN application through website or mobile app, and once they're done with that, they need to search for the available vaccination centers near to them, and once and within those vaccination centers, they should be able to search for the available open vaccination slot. So once they're able to find that, they can book the slot. So as you can see, there are series of steps, right? First, users need to register by providing their information, and submitting that, and next is to search for the vaccination centers and the available slot. So as the user is performing each of these steps, what happens is on the behalf of users, there are backend APIs, application programming interface, backend API calls that are uh, executed from the user interface. Either it can be a website or a mobile app, right? Users as they progress through the series of steps, right, in order to be able to successfully book an appointment. So multiple backend API calls are invoked or executed. So these APIs or backend APIs are same for both the website or as well as mobile app. So government of India has made these APIs public, so citizens of India can actually search and get these details about these APIs, and they can utilize and build custom applications which can access these APIs, invoke or call or consume these APIs. So let me search actually CoWIN public API. Yeah, this is the page actually. So which lists a set of APIs, CoWIN public APIs that are in use by the public. So when you see the description here, there are some constraints, rate limiting as well around it. Like only we can make 100 API calls per 5 minutes per IP. So within these constraints, we can be able to access these APIs and uh, use this actually and build custom applications around these APIs. So this is a visual representation of these APIs, meaning what are the different set of APIs what that are there. These API endpoints are grouped as per the functionality. Like for user authentication, these are the two API endpoints. Metadata, and these are the two. Appointment availability, these are the group of API endpoints. For certificate API, through which we can download the certificate once we are done with the vaccination. So this is the visual representation of this API. So let me take one API and expand this. For example, the location states, which list the list of states that are there. So when I expand this, this gives me the example input. No, sorry, this API doesn't expect any input, but the output that we get out of the when we invoke this API. So this is the sample response actually. Likewise, there is one more API endpoint where we need to provide a state ID, and that you can see like state ID is the input that is expected here, and the response for this when we give a state ID, it lists the set of districts for that state, and this is the response format actually. What are the different response codes this particular API can respond with, right? 200 is successful, 401 unauthenticated access, 500. So this is the documentation for this API, which can be easily read by and understood by the humans. So all of the API endpoints, parameters that the API expects, the response that the API responds with when we invoke that. So this is the information, visual information about the API. So now let us begin to build a custom applications where we consume these APIs. So before we start this, what we want to do is, so in order to be able to consume each of these endpoints, right? Each of these endpoints may expect a request data to be passed to it, and also each of these endpoints will return a response data. So if you were to consume this or call these APIs endpoints from our application, we need to know ahead, right? What are all the request data that we have to pass, right? The model objects are the D2 objects corresponding to the request and response. We need to build it to be able to invoke this. So looking at the number of APIs and the request and responses that each of these API endpoints expect. So to build it, it is a manual and tedious process. So it would be very beneficial if there is an easy way around it to automatically generate the API endpoint consumption logic, and also the DTO or the model objects corresponding to the request and responses of these API endpoints. So this is the visual documentation of this API. So with the help of Swagger, right, we can be able to easily generate the client logic, right, to invoke these APIs, like the automatic generation of the request and response objects, and the client REST API client invocation logic, right. With the help of this Swagger, we can automatically generate that. So in Swagger, there is two things actually. One is the Swagger UI, which is a user interface where users can actually be able to visualize the documentation corresponding to this API. So Swagger is a tool which facilitates for providing the documentation of an API. So what is documentation of an API? So documentation of an API is nothing but uh, storing the details corresponding to an API. So what is the API endpoint URL? So that data that it expects, and the parameters or the attributes that the API endpoint expects from the caller, and also the data that it responds with as a response when the user has invoked these APIs. So this is the humanly consumable or readable representation of this documentation for this API. Similarly, we can store this in a format which can be read and understood by the machines. So, which is machine readable format like JSON or YAML. So, once we are able to represent the documentation for this API in that with the help of Swagger, we can automatically generate the necessary request response models and the API endpoint invocation logic as well. So, if I this is the Swagger UI actually for this API. And if I scroll down, there is something here you can see the a valid button. So if I click this, so I am taken to a separate URL. So if you clearly observe it, there is some URL here which says chants with YAML. So this is the documentation that I'm talking about, the machine readable, machine understandable representation or documentation for this API. So if you are able to get that representation, we can create the model or the API endpoint invocation logic with the help of Swagger. So let me cut that portion from that URL, and here we see there are some special characters. Let me replace this with the actual characters corresponding to this special characters. Okay, so this gives me an YAML representation of the documentation for this API. So this is equivalent to what we see here, right? This is something which we can understand as users. The same documentation in YAML format is this. You can see for each of these APIs, the endpoint for this, the request method, and the request body content schema, like what is the type of the input object and what are the attributes that each of these endpoint expects, and what is the response that the API I mean, respond with after the completion of this execution at the backend. Like 200 response code represents a successful operation, and when this is success, represents it responds with an object of this nature, like tag transaction ID, which is at of type string. So this is the representation, the YAML representation, which is equivalent to this, right? So once we get this YAML representation, we can generate the model and the controller, I mean API endpoint invocation logic using Swagger. So okay, first let me first we'll be starting with building a Spring Boot application. Let me navigate to the Spring Initializer, where we'll generate the skeleton project to begin with. Spring Initializer. So Spring Initializer is something where we can generate the skeleton code for the projects, right? We have to select whether if it is a Maven or Gradle project. For this purpose, this video, I'm going to use a Maven project and the Java language as Java, and the Spring Boot. I'm checking the latest stable version 2.5.2. So the Java version, let me take it as 8, and the naming convention, right? I'm going to give it as com.codegen. Artifact is Covin. So since this is about consuming these APIs from a Spring Boot application, let us name it as Spring Boot Covin, Covin client actually. And let me add a Spring Web dependency, because I'm going to create a controller through which we can invoke or call these Covin APIs. Click on generate, and I can save this. So okay, it is completed. Let me import this into IDE IntelliJ. Okay, now I have imported the that zip actually which I have downloaded a skeleton project to begin with. Right. Once we have after this importing this project, right, we need to copy that YAML representation for the Covin API. Okay, first let me save this YAML file. Okay, after saving this file, right, we need to copy this to the project resources folder. Let me copy this into the resources folder. Okay, now we have the YAML documentation representation for the API within our project. Now we need to be able to generate the client logic and also the model or the DTOs, right, associated to the APIs in the documentation representation for the Covin APIs, right? So we can do this with the help of a plugin, so which is a Swagger CodeGen Maven plugin. With that help of that, we can be able to generate the that client logic, right? Consumer or the client logic for the Covin APIs. Let me add that this is a, since this is a plugin, we need to include it in the build plugin section. So as you can see here in this plugin, right? This is the Swagger CodeGen V3 version and the Swagger CodeGen Maven plugin. So this is invoked in the generate phase of the Maven build. And here we need to provide the path for the documentation for the API, the YAML file that we have, right? And also the language. Here, since it is for Java, I'm giving it Java. As such, we can use this CodeGen Maven plugin to generate a client consumer logic in different languages and in different libraries as well. The library I'm using REST template, so the API invocation endpoint is generated with help of REST templates, which is there in Spring. Okay, now will issue the clean install that should be able to generate the necessary dependencies. Along with the dependencies, it will also run this YAML, the code gen Maven plugin and generate the API endpoints and the API client for each of the APIs. Okay, let me do the clean install on this. That should generate the model classes and the APIs from the YAML representation of Covin public APIs. So there is some error here. It says Swagger V3 OS annotation media does not exist. Looks like I need to add one more dependency for it to run. So that is the Swagger annotations, Swagger core v3. We need to add this dependency as well. Okay, I added it. Let me do clean install one more time. You can see Swagger is generating these classes, automatic classes from which you can see from the logs as well. There is some compilation error which is cannot find a signal, sorry, symbol. Package does not exist. Okay, so this is happening because the Swagger CodeGen Maven plugin by default uses this third-party package for processing the dates. So since because of that it is given that error, so we need to override the default package which is used for processing the dates, and instead let it use Java 8 library only instead of the custom third-party data processing packages. So I need to include the config options within the configuration and give the date library as Java 8, and that will solve this compilation error. And so again you can see the Java files are getting generated from Swagger CodeGen Maven plugin, right? This is it, generate phase. So once these classes are generated and the build is successful, we can see these generated classes inside the target folder. You can see Swagger client, the client API. So the APIs that we have seen, right, in UI, like appointment availability, certificate, metadata API, user authentication API. So for each of these, the client invocation logic is automatically generated. So as you can see here, and the API client as well, so which is used to the which includes the REST template that we want, right? The library that we included to invoke these API, each of these API endpoints. So each of these API endpoints are grouped into a different API. Like for appointment availability separate, as we have seen it earlier, right? In the API, I mean API UI Swagger UI in the Covin website. Okay, so once we are done by with this generation of this Swagger API classes, so next step is we need to bind these API client and these API as Spring Beans within our Spring Boot application. So let me add a new package called config. So where we will register and these auto-generated API classes and the API client as Spring Beans. May add a new class, a configuration class, name config, and I annotate it as a configuration class. Okay, so I had added new class and annotated with the configuration. So the next thing I need to do is and register and bind these API client and API classes. Okay, we have registered API client as a bean. So let's begin with a simple API, which is metadata API, which consists which is used to retrieve the metadata about the states and the districts. We need to bind the API client to each of these API classes. Okay, now we are done with registering these beans, registering these auto-generated classes as beans within our application. So the next thing is we should create a controller class where which will invoke it from the URLs, right? And that logic will invoke each of the endpoints corresponding to these APIs. So let me create a package called controller. So in this controller, I'm first beginning with metadata. So metadata controller. Okay, let us annotate this as a REST controller. And here we are going to auto wire the API bean that we have registered in the configuration class. Okay, so this metadata APIs, let us go through this. This has two endpoints. One is for states, the other is for districts. Okay, let us invoke a simple endpoint, which is the states from this particular controller. So we are going to uh, define a get mapping. Now give it a relative URL state. And here we are going to invoke the states endpoint from the metadata API. States, passing it as null. So for return type for this is this one, inline response 2002. So this is also an automatically generated class. You see here, there is a section within this Swagger client named model, which holds all of the input and output objects, the DTOs corresponding to the each of the endpoints inputs and output, right? The request and response DTOs. So this is the package that has all of these auto-generated classes. For this API, this is the inline response to the response object. Okay. So we are ready with this. So we have included Swagger plugin, CodeGen 11 plugin, and generated this API endpoints and the API classes. And once we have registered it as Spring Beans in the configuration class, and then we have written a custom controller to invoke an endpoint in the sample API, metadata API. So once we start this application and hit /states on localhost, that should actually invoke the metadata API state, which is bind to the Covin API. Let me start the application. So this is the Covin application. I'm going to start it, run it. I should start a Spring Boot application. Okay, looks like there is some error while starting the application. So this is the generated sources Swagger generated test classes. It is reporting some the package is not found. We can rectify this error by adding a dependency corresponding to the JUnit. But these are the automatically generated test classes for the APIs that we have created. So, and for the purpose of this demonstration, right? We don't need this test, so we can skip the generating these test classes altogether to get rid of this error, or we can solve it by including it JUnit dependency. So I'm just there is an option to skip the generation of these API tests from Swagger CodeGen Maven plugin, which is generate API test, and we need to set it to false. So this will actually avoid generating the automatic test classes for the APIs. Well, let me do a clean install one more time. So this time these automatically generated classes will not be generated because we have set it to not generate. Okay, now the build is successful. If I see, there is no test package here under source for the generated sources within Swagger. Okay, now we are good to go. Let me start the application again. Alright, the application is started. So let us go to the localhost UI and access this endpoint. Okay, localhost 8080/states. Okay, we're getting an error. Okay, when I see there is some error here, it says 403 forbidden. Okay, okay. After troubleshooting this, I get to know that there is some configuration change which we need to make to be able to invoke these APIs. So here we have these API client, right? So by default, when we invoke these APIs through the Swagger generated classes, right? The user agent, I mean, user agent is an attribute which identifies who is the caller, what kind of caller, either it's a browser or a application, custom application. It's a Chrome browser or Mozilla browser, right? So it is an attribute which specifies what is the nature of the caller that is invoked in this API to identify the client information at the server level. So that is being defaulted to what is that is being defaulted to Java 8 actually. So if we set user agent is Java SDK, it adds a header actually, header named user agent, which is the attribute which is used to identify client from the server at the server level. Server can get the details about the um, client who is calling, making the request, right, from the user agent. So that is set to default as Java SDK, and due to that, this application is being rejected. Let me override this to some other value so that server can accept the request. So let us keep it to Mozilla to mimic the browser. So let me restart this application. So since Java SDK is the used as an user agent and looks like at the Cowin API server level, right? They are blocking the request with that SDK, programmatic SDK. So we have overridden that and set it to Mozilla to uh, mimic as a request coming from a Mozilla Firefox browser. The server is started. Let us access this once again. Okay. Oh, this time we have got the response from this. This gives us the list of states in our country. So which we are represented with the state ID and state name. Okay. So so now we are able to access an API endpoint, right, by consuming the CoWIN a public APIs from a custom application that were written. So so this is app-to-app communications. We can also use this to build custom UI applications using Angular or React or custom mobile applications to invoke these, the CoWIN public APIs to create websites or mobile apps where we can do similar thing to what we are doing using CoWIN website, right, to register for the available vaccination slots. The same thing we can achieve by, and we can also build custom applications. Remember, we need to abide by the restrictions, right? There is some rate limit around 100 API calls per 5 minutes per IP address. So within that limit, we can utilize these APIs. So I have written an example API for metadata. There are remaining APIs as well, right? As we seen earlier, like the certificate API, which you use to download the certificate once we are done with the vaccination, and appointment availability, where we can search for the available appointments or available vaccination slots. So, as such, we can extend this since we got a baseline uh, on how we can consume these APIs. We can, register the remaining APIs as well and write the controller methods to access each of these API endpoints. So, okay, so that brings us to the conclusion for this video. So, in this video, we have seen so what is a CoWIN app and how a series of steps that are being taken, right? That is the registration, searching for the appointment slots, and booking the available appointment for COVID-19 vaccination. So each of these corresponds to the API backend API call, which is documented and visualized right through this Swagger UI that we had seen earlier. So each of the step corresponds, each of the step done as part of the series of steps that we do in order to successfully register and book for an appointment slot, right? Each step corresponds to a one or more backend API calls. So, and once we know that if we get the documentation for these APIs through the Swagger, we can generate the model classes and also the APIs and the API client classes automatically generated through Swagger. And once we have that, it becomes much more easier for us to, write the logic, consumer logic or client build client applications to consume these each of these APIs. Okay, I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.